So look, if you want to grow your wealth, your income, and increase the amount of time off, then these are the shortcuts that can help. Welcome to the Wealth Creation Podcast. And welcome everybody, it's Dan. I do hope you're well today. Welcome to the podcast show. So in this session, this came about because I was having a conversation with a chap earlier on, a friend of mine, and we were talking about social media and its effectiveness. And we were talking about how what most people tend to do is they start doing some social media marketing. They're really motivated, they're all gung-ho, they create a lot of content and then they post that out. And for the next month, they kind of don't get the result that they're looking for. So what they then do, because they're not getting the result, is that they actually stop and don't do any more. And then what happens is they'll go do something else, and that something else is then successful. And it's like, no, that's actually not quite right. That something else isn't being successful. It's just that the lead times for the social media marketing to actually kick in is probably a month or two. And if your sales cycle, how long it takes for someone to see what you do and make a decision, let's say that's 2 or 3 months. Sometimes it can be a year, sometimes it can be a few years. We've had sales cycles of a few years before in previous industries. And so you've got to be consistent all the way through that sales cycle. So if your sales cycle for your product or service from someone first finding it is 3 months and you're doing a month's worth of content, you've actually not got enough content to fulfill that client's need for 3 months worth of a sales cycle. Because during that time, they're researching you, they're researching competitors, they're seeing what the other options are, they're checking out the price, seeing who's better, seeing who's worse, seeing who's cheaper, etc., etc. So you have to understand that the sales cycle in your business, it might be longer than the period of content that you've actually got going out. So then you go and you go do networking, let's say, and networking does work. And I'm not saying it wouldn't work, but it works even better when you've actually got content going out for the last 3 months or the last 5 years, because you walk in a room, people already know who you are. And I've experienced this, and it's just simply the most weirdest feeling ever. And you can see people looking at you and you're like, uh-oh, what have I done in a past life? Because someone's coming to get me. And it's like, are you Dan? Are you Dan? And it's like, it's just so weird. But it happens, and that's, we love it when it happens, by the way. It's really good for the ego. And it's also really good for business as well. It's better for people to know who you are before you walk in the room than you having to introduce yourself, if that makes sense. So you have to understand that this sales cycle that you've got in your business, it might be longer than the period of content you've got going out. And it's really easy to get burnt out, which moves us nicely onto consistency as well, because you have to be consistent when you're putting content out. And in fact, if you're recording 6 pieces of content, I would rather you release that piece of content 1 per week for the next 6 weeks. Now you've got 6 weeks of content, and consistently every Monday at say 12 noon. Brilliant. I would rather you do that than 6 pieces of content that goes out for the next 6 days. And then because you're exhausted, you don't want to do it, something's cropped up, you go away on holiday and you haven't got time to do it anymore. Then, you end up with 6 pieces of content, nothing else going out. That's very, very inconsistent. And it's really tempting to, I'm going to do this content, I'm going to put it all out for the next 6 days. And yeah, in 6 days, I'll put some more content out. Very rarely happens. I can tell you from experience, we're all gung-ho at the start of the year, like we are again this year. And then we tire off in the middle of the year because it's summer. And then we kind of get back into it because we're heading into autumn and into the winter months, and our content picks up and our number of leads picks up as well. Why do you think that is? It's not because people are taking time off in summer. It's because we are inconsistent in summer, and it happens every single year. Best intentions and all that of, no, we'll definitely do it. It's warm outside. We've got a swimming pool. We've got the beach. We've got all the beach bars. We're not creating content. So we have to get into the habit of May and June actually creating content weeks in advance that we can then schedule weeks in advance. So we've always got a consistent amount of content going out. Your clients need you to be consistent. If you are inconsistent, your clients will pick somebody else who is consistent. And obviously being consistent on creating content is really, really challenging. That's why we use the 90-10 rule, which is you be the talent, you be in front of a camera, You record your live streams, send everything to us, and we'll do the other 90%, which, pulls out all the little short videos, puts them out across social media, schedules them all, call to actions, titles, descriptions, thumbnails if needed, and so on. All that should be done by somebody else and not be done by you. Because the only way of staying consistent is for you just to do the good bits that you enjoy, which is face on camera. No one else can do that. You have to do that. You might have some staff that can do that on your organization's behalf. But again, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And in other words, you, especially for small businesses, you need to get your face in front of the camera. 90-10. You do the 10%, send it to us, we do the other 90%, or whoever that's going to be in your organization. And then the next one is about poor visual quality. Like, in the olden days, we used to get maybe 8 to 15 different pieces of content, and then we would make a decision on that. And, where are you getting your content from? The yellow pages, newspaper, if you get on TV, if you're lucky, or the radio, if you spend a lot of money. Those days have gone. 8 to 15 different pieces of content? No. Try 800 to 1300 different pieces of content in, 2025. You have to create a lot of content because now people are getting bombarded every single minute of their lives with messages, marketing, buy this perfume, buy this car, have a hamburger, buy a drink Coca-Cola, drink Pepsi, don't drink Coke, drink Pepsi. Like, constantly, brands everywhere, messages everywhere. You turn on the radio, brands coming at you. You walk down the street and billboards and cars signed up. You go on the internet, adverts everywhere. Everyone telling you what to do, like me. So you need to stand out somehow. And the question is, how are you going to stand out? So visual quality is a really great way. Like, we've got this up here. We've got this little agenda thing, which is really there to remind me what on earth I'm supposed to talk about, get me back on track, because I tend to go off topic quite often. It's just who I am, right? I'm authentic, and that's who I am. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you've got to have some good visual quality. And if it's just you, face to camera, and it's a little bit dull, we've got the Captain America shield, we've got a planet that's kind of lit up, we've got some lights, and we've got all this stuff going on. It's a little bit more intriguing, and so people stop and take a look and wonder why. So that's some of the stuff that you can implement in yours. Or it can be your locations. Try filming on a fairground ride. Like, I don't know, just random stuff. If you're going boating, do it there. If you're walking on the beach, film a bit of content there. Just be different and stand out. Especially right now, we live in a TikTok generation where you have all these templates on TikTok that you can upload an image to, and it does all this amazing stuff. That stands out more than your face to camera. And it's very, very challenging to get your content to stand out against everything else that you have to stand out against. And it's not other people's content. It's not just your competitors. It's Netflix. It's Prime Video. It's Disney. All this stuff. It's going out for a walk. How do you get your message across if someone isn't engaging on social media and they go out for a walk? That's why you should have a podcast, for example, so people get to listen to you when they're out for a walk. We know it happens. We used to get emails when we were more consistent with our podcast show, and we're definitely less consistent today, and that needs to go back up. But we would get messages from people. Hey, you've not done one for a while. I miss your voice. Like, you miss this, for God's sake? Like, what even is that about? I have no idea. But that's what we got. Next one then is about just you being you, about being more authentic. People love authenticity. And when I first started doing my videos, I would try and create a studio. I was in a suit and tie, for God's sake. I was trying to make it like a new studio. And, that's not what people want these days. People want you. I did a piece of content today doing some CrossFit muscle cleans. Like, I'm in my shorts, I'm lifting muscle cleans. Like, it's not a shiny object. It's not this well-polished, shiny piece of content. I don't think people want that in this day and age. And I see people using AI filters on their profile picture, making them look 20 years younger. It's like, what are you doing? That's not authentic. That's the opposite of authentic. You are you, be more you. Get out in front of as many people as you can. Don't try to be somebody that you're not. People see Tony Robbins and go, I'm going to be Tony Robbins. Woo! Say yeah! Like, no. Stop. Be you. Talk like you talk. I'll go Yorkshire now. Talk like you talk and just be you,
you be more you. That's what people want, because there's only one version of you on this planet, and so you should be more you. And I say it in almost every podcast, by the way. But being authentic is very, very powerful for you to build your brand upon, because it builds such a significant level of trust inherent in that relationship that this person now has with you. Even though you might not know they exist, they have a relationship with you, even though you don't have a relationship with them yet, because they're not a customer. Like, imagine how bizarre that actually sounds. This person, this random stranger, you listening to me, has a relationship with me, and I don't even know you exist yet. So come and say hello. And then I wouldn't get to know you exist, and then we can engage and see how we can help each other and so on. That's how it's supposed to work, and be authentic while you're doing that. All right, I hope you find that useful. We'll catch up with you on the next one. Have a wicked day in the meantime, and we'll speak soon. Take care.
Hey, it's Dan here. Thank you for listening. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Please click like or subscribe to the entire podcast.